Hello everyone and welcome to my 2024 eggnog review video. Today I will be reviewing 27 different eggnogs and holiday nog beverages to determine which eggnog is best and which one you should pick up at a store near you. So I picked up 27 different eggnogs and holiday nog beverages. I have a pretty good selection here and we're gonna go through. I'll talk to you about each of them as we determine and crown the best eggnog for 2024. All right, let's get started. So up first we have the Kroger Rich and Creamy Low Fat Cinnamon Eggnog. You can see the hint of the cinnamon coloring, almost like a brown gold hue that the eggnog gives off. And let's give it a taste. It's good. The eggnog flavoring doesn't overwhelm, neither does the cinnamon flavoring. It's a good mild eggnog. I'd say it's a very solid eggnog, and probably if you're one of those that doesn't like to be overpowered by the taste of a traditional eggnog, then the Kroger cinnamon might be the one for you. Here's the nutrition on the cinnamon. Now keep in mind, for the cinnamon eggnog, that is low fat cinnamon eggnog. You can see cinnamon's also an ingredient on the back of the list. So you get a little bit of a boost if you're looking from a calorie standpoint. 40 fewer calories in the cinnamon eggnog than in Kroger's other eggnog options. I will say I can't tell that it's low fat, so you can take that for what it's worth there. Up next, we have Kroger Rich and Creamy Vanilla Egg Nog. And you can definitely see there's a difference in color, whereas the cinnamon eggnog was a little bit more brown and cinnamony in color. This one is more of a off-white color, but maybe a little bit brighter than the Kroger Original Egg Nog. You can smell the vanilla, a hint of vanilla, just kind of like the cinnamon eggnog from Kroger. You could also smell the cinnamon. This one, you can smell the vanilla. The vanilla eggnog is good. I could just be misremembering, but it almost is a little bit stronger of a vanilla than I remember in years past. But again, I could just be misremembering that. It's very good. I probably like it a little bit more than a cinnamon one. And I've only tried two so far. So vanilla eggnog from Kroger is currently in the lead. Here's the vanilla. You can see that vanilla is not explicitly called out in the ingredients. Third, we have Kroger Original Egg Nog. Now, this is the eggnog that I grew up on, so I have a soft spot for this one. When I think of eggnog, this is what I think of. You can see the coloring is a little bit different than the previous two. It's not as gold brown as the cinnamon. It's also not as bright white as the vanilla. And let's see how it tastes. This is a perfect base eggnog. Not overwhelming, but definitely a stronger traditional eggnog flavor than both the cinnamon and the vanilla eggnogs. A great smell to it. This one, just from memory standpoint, I'd probably say this is my favorite so far, just a little bit ahead of the Kroger vanilla. And here's the nutrition on the original eggnog. So 170 calories. Up next, we have Kroger Pumpkin Egg Nog. I remember last year, pumpkin was not an ingredient in the pumpkin egg nog, and it's still not an ingredient. Interesting to see, but it still tastes like pumpkin. Doesn't smell like pumpkin, unlike really the past three eggnogs, which the original one, that smelled like the traditional eggnog, the cinnamon eggnog smelled like cinnamon, the vanilla eggnog smelled like vanilla. The pumpkin eggnog does not have a smell to it. And maybe taste-wise, it's similar to the Kroger Original Egg Nog. Maybe not as strong of an eggnog flavoring to it. And where it lacks in an eggnog flavoring standpoint, it's replaced with a hint of pumpkin flavoring. The pumpkin eggnog is pretty good. If you're a big fan of pumpkins and you like eggnog, this might be the one for you. Up next, we have Organic Valley Reduced Fat Eggnog. Here's the nutrition. So you can see that while this one is also reduced fat, the Kroger Cinnamon Eggnog still wins the battle in terms of calories. I do believe this one has more protein. And looking at the ingredients, cane sugar, cream. So the ingredients are a little bit simpler in this one and not as many calories as some of the other eggnogs you will find. Even the Kroger base eggnogs, the calorie count isn't as high as some of the other brands, which will exceed the 200 calorie threshold. Here's the color. This one is kind of like an off-white, light gray. Smells a tiny bit sweet, but no real defining scent. It's got a very good flavor though, a very sweet flavor. The consistency is thin, so it's more thin than the Kroger eggnogs. And it might have the strongest flavor. Probably it would be close with the Kroger Vanilla for which flavor is the strongest so far. And I'd say the flavor is more of a vanilla flavor, less of a traditional eggnog flavor, but it's still, when you take a sip of it, you get a blast of flavor in every sip. A great eggnog. It's one of my favorites, but of the ones I've tried so far, I'd probably put it maybe in the middle. Up next, we have Simple Truth Organic Egg Nog, naturally flavored. So I'm expecting to see maybe some simpler ingredients here. 180 calories. Now, Simple Truth Organic is one of the Kroger brands. And let's see. So more ingredients and a little bit more complex than the Organic Valley Egg Nog. Does have sugar versus high fructose corn syrup. So that's one difference between Kroger's Simple Truth Organic Egg Nog and the base Kroger brand of eggnog. 180 calories. And let's get on to the taste. Oh, but first, the color. This one really stands out as being yellow in color. The other eggnogs were all white, or I guess the cinnamon eggnog was like a whitish brown, but this one, this is a white yellow, so the color definitely stands out right off the bat. Not much of a smell. This is definitely the thickest eggnog of the bunch. And it's good. It has a really good flavor. Like a traditional eggnog flavor. It kind of reminds me of the Kroger Original Egg Nog. But the eggnog flavoring might be a tiny bit stronger and it's also creamier. And therefore, I would say this one is probably my favorite of the ones I've tried so far. And I believe this is my first time ever trying Simple Truth Organic Egg Nog. Definitely a winner. Up next, we have the CF Burger Old Fashioned Eggnog Deluxe. Now, in my video from last year, this was my favorite eggnog. So I'm going to be interested to see where it stacks up against the one I just tried, the Kroger Simple Truth Organic Egg Nog. This color is also a little bit more yellow than some of the other eggnogs, but not quite as yellow as the Simple Truth Organic Egg Nog. Definitely has a stronger eggnog smell than the Simple Truth Organic Egg Nog. This is one of the stronger eggnog scents of the ones I've tried so far. And I still think this one is probably my favorite so far. It's very close with the Kroger Simple Truth Organic Egg Nog. This one's not as thick and creamy as the Simple Truth Organic Egg Nog, but in my opinion, it has a better flavor, just barely. Those two definitely stand above the others so far as being my favorite too. But this one has a slight edge. And here's the nutrition. (185 calories. Up next, we have another one that was close to the top of the list from a season ago, and an eggnog that is very popular in the eggnog community. Southern Comfort Vanilla Spice Eggnog. Here's the nutrition info. So this is the highest in terms of calories we've had so far. This cracks the 200 mark at 210 calories. Also, on the lower end of protein, we've seen a couple that have had 6 grams of protein. This one only has 4. But what it might not have in nutritional strength, although if we're being honest, none of these are healthy, it makes up for in taste and an overpowering vanilla scent and flavor. This one's a very bright white, similar to the Kroger Vanilla Egg Nog. And let's do the taste. It's really good. Like, it is distinct from the Kroger vanilla, but I really just I can't discern too much of a difference between the two. So from a price standpoint, it might be better going with the Kroger vanilla in terms of efficiency, cost-wise, but Southern Comfort vanilla is a good, Southern Comfort vanilla spice is a great flavor of eggnog. Definitely top half of the list so far. Up next, we have Southern Comfort Traditional Egg Nog. So this is the base version. You can see fewer calories there, same number of protein, same serving size. And now, just keep in mind, or one thing to note, that all the eggnogs that I'm trying in this video are all non-alcoholic eggnogs. I know, especially in the case of Southern Comfort, it's known for being associated with alcoholic beverages, but in this case, just to clarify, the Southern Comfort eggnogs, both of which, as is the case with all the other eggnogs in this video, are non-alcoholic. So you can see a little bit more yellow in color than the previous Southern Comfort Vanilla Spice Eggnog that we tried. This one does not really have a scent to it. It's got a good flavor. It's thick. It tastes like eggnog, but it's mild. I would put this under the Kroger Original Egg Nog. I mean, it's still good, but I've just tried so many other great eggnogs in this video. This would probably be in the bottom half of the list so far, but it's still great. Up next, we have Favorite Day Eggnog. Favorite Day is a Target brand. Here's the nutrition, calories in line with all the other eggnogs we've seen. A very mild scent. Color, pretty standard for some of the other traditional eggnogs we've seen so far. And it's got a good flavor. Distinct from some of the other traditional eggnogs. I'm not a spice expert, but there's definitely a spice in there that's stronger in the Favorite Day eggnog than some of the other eggnogs. I can't put my finger on what that spice is. Let's see if it lists what spices are in here. It does not say. maybe nutmeg. I probably have to think about that one a little bit, but it is a unique flavor and it is good. Probably wouldn't be my go-to eggnog, but if I want something unique, if I want to add some variety for my list of traditional base eggnogs, then this is definitely one that I would consider giving a try. Up next, we have Trader Joe's eggnog. Here's the nutrition. And here's the appearance. This eggnog, similarly to the Simple Truth organic eggnog and also the CF Burger eggnog, is more yellow in appearance, more of a yellowish white. A slightly sweet scent. This one reminds me a lot like the Kroger Original Egg Nog. I would still probably give a slight edge to the Kroger Original Egg Nog, but Trader Joe's eggnog is a good one. Up next is 365 Whole Foods Market Organic Eggnog, which I got from Whole Foods. There's the nutrition, also 180 calories. You can see the appearance, very yellow in color. Probably similar, we'll have to go back and check on the video, but probably pretty similar to the Simple Truth Organic Eggnog, which was also very bright yellow in color. Not too much of a scent with this one. And it's got a good flavor. It's on the mild end of the eggnog flavor strength spectrum. But it's thick. It's got a good, thick, sweet scent to it in terms of eggnog flavoring. Again, more mild, but a good sweetness to it. I'd probably put this eggnog in the upper 50%. I couldn't quite place it in my top 2 or 3, which I would still say would have to be the CF Burger Deluxe Eggnog at number 1, and then the Simple Truth Organic Eggnog at number 2. But this one's definitely in the top 50%. Up next, we have Kalona Supernatural Organic Eggnog, which I also acquired from Whole Foods. Serving size is 4 ounces at 210 calories. Appearance, this is probably the eggnog that is closest to the color gray of the eggnogs I've tried so far. Has a cinnamon smell to it. Flavor-wise, it's very thin. And of all the eggnogs I've tried so far, this is probably the one that, to me, tastes the most unlike eggnog. It has a good flavor, but it just doesn't really taste like eggnog to me. More of a sweet milk. Also, consistency is very thin. Kind of reminds me like if you get a glass of, I don't know, 2% vitamin D milk, you put some cinnamon and then you put some vanilla in it and stir it up. That's kind of the flavor and the consistency for how I would describe this. It's not bad per se, but to me it doesn't really taste like an eggnog. Lower half of the list, I would say. But then again, I'm a big fan of like the eggnog taste and traditional thickness. I mean, if you're looking for all natural ingredients, if you like thinner eggnogs that don't taste as strong as a regular traditional eggnog, then this could be the one for you. Up next, we have Country Fresh Eggnog. Color is in line, maybe a little bit more yellow than some of the other eggnogs, but pretty standard. A mild eggnog smell to it. Very thick. And it has a good mild eggnog flavor. I'd also have to put this on the bottom half of the eggnogs that I've tried, just because I like eggnogs that are a little bit stronger in flavor, and the thickness maybe a tad on the thick side for me. But overall, it's still good. Next, we have Shamrock Farms Eggnog Pumpkin Spice. Same number of calories as the Kroger Pumpkin Egg Nog. Looking at the color, it's interesting. This is the most orange in color, and makes sense because it's pumpkin. But I'd say this is a lot more orange in color than the Kroger Pumpkin Egg Nog. Hint of pumpkin smell. Let's see if pumpkin actually is explicitly called out in the ingredients section. It is not, although vegetable juice is, and that explains the color. And in case you didn't catch that, that would be the vegetable juice for color, the last ingredient there. This one's good. I might even like this a tiny bit than the Kroger Pumpkin Egg Nog, which I really liked. It's thin. It tastes like eggnog, but then there's also an aftertaste of pumpkin. It's a good solid eggnog. I would rank it close with the Kroger Pumpkin Egg Nog. Both are good. They do taste a little bit different from one another, so I'd recommend picking up both and giving both a try for yourself. Next, we have Galliker's Eggnog, which I picked up from a Sheetz. 200 calories, 6 grams of protein. Smells like eggnog. Tastes like eggnog, has a good eggnog flavor to it. Consistency is on the thin side, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's good, but it definitely has a strong, distinct flavor. So I wouldn't necessarily have this as my go-to eggnog, but I definitely wouldn't be opposed to mixing it in now and then. Next, we have Promised Land Dairy, richer and creamier old-fashioned eggnog, limited edition. Maybe a tiny bit of a sweet smell to it, but not an overpowering scent. It's got a good sweet flavor to it. Consistency is probably where the typical eggnog's consistency would lie. I like this one. Doesn't crack the top two still, which are still the CF Burger and the Simple Truth Organic, but probably in the top 50%. Up next, we have the UDF, United Dairy Farmers Eggnog. The nutrition's right there as well. Now this eggnog has a very distinct flavor. I really like it. Definitely top 50%. I've tried a couple custard nogs before, and I would say this tastes like a custard nog versus an eggnog, which isn't a bad thing. That's just one thing to be aware of, but this one's really good. Next, we have the Lactaid Eggnog. Lactaid, enjoy eggnog again, lactose free. Real eggnog, no discomfort. Here's the color. And this one's good. A unique flavor to it. Consistency's thin. It reminds me a lot like a melted Wendy's Vanilla Frosty, which is a good thing. Just, I guess, be cognizant of if you're looking for something that's traditional eggnog flavoring. This might not necessarily have that, but it's definitely good, and it's definitely something that I would drink again. All right, now we're on to the eggnogs that aren't necessarily the traditional milk-based eggnogs, but are almond milk, coconut milk, or soy, or oat-based. So this one is Almond Malk Organic Holiday Nog, 5 simple ingredients. Only 60 calories, which by far this is the lowest calorie count of all the eggnogs that we've taken a look at so far. And here are the ingredients. Very simple. Filtered water is the main ingredient, followed by organic almonds, organic maple syrup. I don't recall seeing that before on an eggnog ingredient list. Organic nutmeg extract, and Himalayan pink salt. And here's the color, which is very interesting. Reminds me of kind of like a chicken noodle soup broth. Doesn't have a, well, actually I take that back. It smells like almonds. And it's good. I'm not sure it really tastes like eggnog. I mean, you can taste the almonds. I think you can taste the syrup. Definitely unique. I've never had an eggnog like that one before. It's good, but I don't really picture that when I think of eggnog, but it definitely has a good flavor and a good consistency. Next, we have California Farms Holiday Nog. This is another almond nog. Similar calorie count, 10 more than the other. The ingredients are as follows. So this one does have cane sugar, does not have syrup. Similar in appearance. So I'd say this one tastes a little bit more like eggnog, although I think I actually like the other one a little better. But if you're looking for something that's low in calories, if you want something that's almond based, both are good options. Here's another almond milk almond nog. This one's Blue Diamond Almonds Almond Breeze Almond Milk Nog, 70 calories. There's the list of ingredients. Here's the appearance. Probably more similar to the almond malk in appearance. So I like the taste of this one better than the California Farms one. I'm not sure how I would compare it with the almond malk, just because I'd say they taste distinctly from each other. I probably would give this one, the Almond Breeze Nog, the slight edge of the 3 almond nogs. And now we have a coconut nog to try. So delicious, dairy-free coconut milk holiday nog, limited edition, 90 calories. So still substantially fewer calories than the milk-based eggnogs, but more calories than the almond-based eggnogs. Color looks similar to some of those almond milk-based eggnogs. Maybe a tiny bit of a coconut smell. Hard to pick up on though. And the taste is pretty good. I would say I like this better than any of the almond milk eggnogs. Still doesn't quite taste like a milk-based eggnog, but it tastes very close. I really like it, and the coconut adds a nice touch. Now we're on to some of the oat-based eggnogs. So this is Good and Gathered plant-based oat milk holiday nog. 70 calories, so in line with the Almond Breeze almond nog. Vegetable oil is one of the ingredients in here. I don't think we've seen that ingredient before, although I could be wrong. Appearance similar to some of the other milk-based alternative eggnogs. Not much of a scent. An interesting taste. So I don't drink a ton of oat milk. I've had it a couple times in my life. I would say it kind of reminds me of some of the oat milk I've had, but then with hints of eggnog seasoning. I guess I haven't had enough oat milk to really compare the two well, but I'd say this is probably in line with some of the other almond milk based nogs that we tried a little bit ago. I think it really just comes down to whether you prefer almond milk or oat milk. Personally, I prefer almond milk, so I would have to give the Almond Breeze eggnog the edge. The Almondmilk would have the edge. I would say this one is ahead of the California Farms eggnog. Up next is Trader Joe's Oat Nog non-dairy oat beverage. 70 calories, in line with the previous oat nog. Also has vegetable oil in the ingredient list. And it tastes pretty similar to the previous oat nog. I might like this one a tad bit better, but they both taste pretty similar to me. Tastes like oat milk with some eggnog flavoring to it. So next we have Planet Oat Nog. There's the nutrition, 90 calories. So a little bit higher in calories than the other couple oat nogs we've tried so far. Also sunflower oil in the ingredient list. Color is brighter than the past couple oat nogs. And it's got a good flavor. I would say this is my favorite oat nog that I've tried so far. And here's the 27th and final eggnog, oil-free, gum-free, 3 Trees organic nog. This one is interesting because it's oat and almond based. The ingredients are filtered water, oats, almonds, cane sugar, and then a few other ingredients and spices. 110 calories, so this has the highest calorie count, although the serving size is also 1 cup. So I'd have to go back and check to see what the other serving sizes were. But anyway, let's take a look. Translucent. No smell. And it doesn't taste bad, but it does not, in my opinion, taste like eggnog. It tastes good. It has maybe a hint of sweetness to it, but it kind of reminds me of just like drinking almond milk, which I like almond milk, but it doesn't necessarily taste like an eggnog. Yeah, that concludes my 2024 eggnog review. 27 different eggnogs and eggnog alternatives that I have tried. They were very good, but now I need to go recover. That wore me out. Thanks so much for tuning in, and congrats to our winner for the 2nd year in a row, the Deluxe CF Burger Creamery Old Fashioned Eggnog took home the #1 prize, followed by the Simple Truth Organic Eggnog. Those two are my top 2 eggnogs of 2024 out of the 27 eggnogs that I tried. Thanks so much for watching. I gotta go run off all that eggnog.